So guys, in any organization, okay, the most common attacks what you're going to observe is, okay, the attacks related to the scanning, the attacks related to the, like brute force, and apart from that, some other OS related attacks which targeting only the web application. Okay, and if it is a mid-size to a big company, you will be regularly seeing the DDoS attacks. Okay, but brute force is the one which you will be most frequently seen attacked. Okay, so now let us, like there are in brute force, there are a lot many types are also there. Now let's get into it one by one. Okay, so now what is meant by, first of all, this brute force attacks? Okay, brute force. Okay, see, brute force is nothing but it is just some kind of what I can say, like you guess some password. Okay, like guessing the password and trying to attempt password and attempt. Okay, usually the brute force means you will be harvesting some usernames. Harvesting means it isn't like you go to, as I said earlier, to gain the information. Definitely everyone's email ID at the rate that company name. In that, the first part, whatever the first name, last name, or some short name at the rate company name will be there, right? That thing will be username. Apart from at the rate company name, the remaining part will be the username. Usually everywhere it happens the same. Okay, or they might have given you some unique ID also, some time to log in. Okay, for everywhere, like either you log into a system where, say for example, I can say you might be logging into your mail exchange from home. Okay, everybody go on mute, or you might be trying to log in into, say for example, what I can say, example is the other example is, say for example, you have some specific app like SimTool. Okay, for logging into that also you'll use the same username. You're not using for each application, like when we install different usernames, it won't be like that. It will be like, every application is connected to Active Directory in Office, whatever it is there. Okay, either from Linux or from the Windows machines, those Active Directory, whatever the username, password, that is called as that login attempt is called as single sign-on. Means create one account and use it for multiple applications, whether it is operating system or applications. Okay, so what, it's a very good chance for any attacker if he tries to compromise or guesses one successful the password out of like your 100 usernames which you have collected. There are two different ways how they'll harvest. They can get it from the company documents which are downloaded using some social networking tools available in internet, or social networking sites itself. They might have kept it somewhere from the like some documents which they have shared or anything, or like as I said, like you go to the company visit and you ask that you took shake hand of that guy, and then after that you try to I think Rene is there, so I don't know who is InfoSec. I'll be, give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Okay. So what they will do, they will be like going and asking like, sales team or something like that. They go and sit with them and they'll they'll have some, discussion as if like these guys are genuine. Like top level people, somehow they get connected and they will, take it. The visiting card. Like that, like they will go to different, like, they'll gather some other information also. Or they'll, at least if they get, the pattern, how they are employees are given their identity. Say, for example, my organization, maybe like first name is the first part, after that dot, and second, like last name will be the next. Or some companies last name they will keep it at the first, and after that dot, and the first name will be kept at the end at the rate the company name. Okay, so they will be like just getting the full names of the employees somehow by paying it to some the facilities guy who is there working. Okay, or like company Diwali or something gifts when they are giving, like it's very easy for these guys to get that kind of full name without any employee, the personal data, only with the employee name or with the employee code or something like that. They will harvest that data. Okay, and what they will do, they will guess the passwords, maybe like the random guessing they might do. Okay, all these things they will try to attempt, like with different, what is this, like they'll get into the solution. And there is one more way they will like not only from here, even from the social networking as well, they will come to know about the full names and they will do that. Okay, but that means like usernames, you mean like you cannot password guessing or anything, you cannot look into the as a SIM, since it is a personal information. There is no such thing, or as a SOC engineer, like whatever the thing you are working as a SIM, right? Or like whether it can be a Splunk, ArcSight, or QRadar, you are nowhere bothered about what is the username and what is the password. You are only bothered about when it goes and gets authenticated. Okay, the username and password, whether it is successful or not, that is only the thing which you are going to look into. It is not your duty whether the username is correct and the password is correct, and comparing that text, all those things you don't know. The outcome where the end server, like Active Directory, what it has returned, does it return successful or it returned failure? That's only your duty. Okay, so usually you are going to log in into the Linux or Unix or any such machines. Okay, it's clear cut, like you'll be getting login successful or login failure. But in Linux, it is not the case. In in Windows, it is not the case. In Unix and Linux, that is the case. Like some message will be there, like login attempt failed, like standard messages are. Okay, but that is not the case with the I would like to show you that. Windows, there is something, this one. If you are going to successfully log in, okay, let me, event viewer. I am talking about the machines. I am not talking about the, not like, the, what do you say, some application server where web application is there. Like Amazon hosted some, the login page, login credentials are, like you have to validate, means like whether it is successful login or not, what are the transaction. So auth server will be the authentication server. We call it as what? These logins where they are, whether they are valid or not, who is going to tell in organization. Even Active Directory also, you can consider it as like authentication server. But usually applications, when it comes, authentication server will be there separately. Okay, or it is some kind of that is the place where the entered username and password come and get validated. Maybe like they might be like 2FA or any other logic, everything is there, like secondary factor of password. I mean, like secondary 2FA means secondary factor authentication. Yeah, means like entering the code, all these things, okay, comes into the picture. Okay, like that authentication server will tell that your username and password is correct, but I want your, the secondary password for me to allow you. You guys, whether you know that anytime if you go here, okay, if you open incognizant, this incognizant window does cookies to store. It doesn't even store, secured. That's why you see cap with two glasses. Are you able to see this? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the way you can securely browse in, using the Chrome. Okay. The other one which I have shown you, this one is storing all the cookies. Okay. Even, anything like, my personal stuff. Say, for example, this is some cryptos also I'll keep. Okay. Directly I have kept it over here. So if any guy comes randomly, if he's having some access to me, he can just, take my, whatever the assets I have, crypto assets, he can directly take it from here and he can escape. See all these things, everything, like, it is here itself. So they can do whatever they want. My cookies are here itself. Whatever they want, they can take it from here itself. So they can steal the cookies. If any attacker is in place, they can steal cookies. But the cookies itself, if you are not storing, okay, the same password, like same account login I will try, okay, whatever it is there configured over there as well, okay, let me try what it gives. Already this account is configured on my machine, same account I will try to see over here. See? Okay. So let me try. Yeah. Now, even though every day I'm logging on, like on this machine, it will treat it as new account. Okay. It will treat it as a new account and sends a request to my, this is a secondary factor authentication, what we say. It is not like now I have seen, yeah, it is mine only like that on my mobile. Okay. If I click S, okay, then it will allow me to log in. See? Okay. So where it is happening, guys, you have to be remembering. Better you have to remember that, okay, like this, anywhere. Where is the websites are hosted usually in our organization? Public facing website, which area? Which area? Guys, in our organization, which area we are putting all the public facing web servers?
DMZ?
Yes, that is the answer you have to immediately say, every one of you guys. Okay. Okay, you will have DMZ, and where all the personal information is kept?
Private.
Yes, you can have multiple private networks. Got it right? You can have any number of private networks. Okay, this is the private location where all your employees are working. Okay, all their, the machines are there. Okay, this is like, multiple machines are there. Maybe hundreds or thousands of machines are there in that particular area. Okay, okay, all these machines. Okay, like that. One place I'm just giving. Okay, so all of these are connected to one router. Say that is called as, this one, some internal router. Okay, this is like, very more secured area. Okay, this is private network. Looks like the connection has gone. Wait. No problem. Anyhow, my voice will be audible, right? Just wait for a second. Okay, give me a second. Continue. Okay. Share the screen. Okay. So this private network, this is one. Okay. You can have so many private networks. As I said, this might be like, where all your, the critical data of the public domain might be present. Okay. Okay. These are all, some databases or authentication servers or, something which is required for your public facing. Okay. Every public facing server, when the authentication happens, login page who is providing? Login page who is providing? DMZ only provides the login page. Only authentication, whether it is correct or not, okay, will be provided by the authentication server. Yeah. So now the customer is here somewhere, okay, through the internet, okay, somehow he reached the organization. Here all firewalls, IDS, everything is there. I'm not writing it, okay, and somehow he has reached to this location through internet. This is the internal, this router, and all the web pages like your Amazon, Google, all these things are, of their company's main page to the internet, right? That is kept it here in the web server. Okay, this is the web server. Okay. Now remember, guys, anytime like here he clicked on sign in, right? Sign in page again goes to the customer. Okay, here all load balancers, everything is in place. I'm not writing that now. Okay, as you know already, what is load balancer, why we are using that over there, what is the what do you say, internal firewall, why we need it, what is the WAF functionality over there, why we need switch also there. All these things we have already discussed. So all the computers are connected here. Now the Amazon.com, like click sign in, he has clicked, then sign in request went, and it brought the username and password entering screen. Attackers, what they do, if they harvest a lot of usernames and passwords, right? Okay, they don't rely on like manual work. What they will do, they will take that page, okay, and keep all the guessed usernames and password. How they are going to guess usernames and password? Usernames I have told. Passwords, there are so many methods they will use. We will discuss about that in some time. But I want to let you know this: if any login attempts happens, what happens? What it happens? Okay, so this page will come back, and you will enter the username and password. Okay, once after this attacker enters the username and password, or an individual username enters user and password, it will go to that authentication server, which is in private network. Now you tell me, does private network has got access like mixing of the public data and the private data? Any mix is there? No. Okay, whatever it is there here, where the user has entered the username and password, during that time only we are allowing. If the user is just browsing the data, we are just letting them to roam around within that website how much ever the time they want, like whatever they want, they can do everything. If they do any attacks also, we are least bothered to certain extent. But anyhow, we are containing that attacks, but we are little least bothered. But mainly authentication happens here. This is the important point each and every one of you have to remember. That means application server, public facing application server will be there. If someone jumps in and asks you, hey, could you please check? I have seen some increase in, the traffic to, the so-and-so like a public facing server, then that time you have to least bother about, the private URL. This will also have some URL. As soon as when you click, some sign in, right, it will open the username password page, right? This will show some username and password. Example I will show here itself. Why we need to worry about all those things. Let me share the screen full. Okay, here what I'll do, I'll enter, you know, Google, not Google. What is that website? Okay, Amazon. Okay. Now I click this all websites when I'm here, when I clicked on this, okay, all these are, you know, public facing data only. All are in DMZ. Nothing to worry about that particular part. The DMZ data, like if there is any, constantly getting updated. Okay, like new products come, old products gets deleted. All those things, yeah, they will be getting updated. And now what I have done, I've clicked on sign. See this, whatever the page is there, right? Okay, this page, okay, this page, whatever it is, okay, identifier underscore selector opener SSHD checked time HTTPS OpenID.net F authentication means authentication server something, it somewhere it is going in the google.com, which it will be there in the, so this is like encoding what it is in the sense, you know, HTTP, okay, forward slash, they will be giving, you know, like in URLs we should not enter. Later, like when you will come to know about OS top 10, when I say, right, that time you will come to know why percentage is coming here. HTTP forward slash or something, it should be there, right? Whatever it is, but it is showing as %3, a percentage, something like that. Why it is means this is 2F means two-factor authentication, something like that. Okay. So now let's see. Okay, I have entered some this thing. Okay, and click something. Okay, first it is checking that, okay, do you have, you know, like OTP will be sent to this, because two-factor also internally all the data it will take and it will do like whether the authentication, all this whatever, when I clicked on it, right, the web page for logging in username has come from here, but the authentication, once I enter the data, this my Gmail mobile numbers, where they are storing, they're storing somewhere here. Okay, this is the one which is telling that, hey, bring his phone number, bring his, you know, email ID. They might be internally communicating. Okay, for this task, immediately this one will show again that particular thing on my screen here. Okay, so attacker, even you have to least bother if two-factor authentication is there, like, you know, don't get anything scared when the attack is in progress. Okay, check whether your systems has got two-factor authentication, and for how many of those two-factor authentication your server has sent to accepts, that is successful response. Okay, that also we are going to check in when we are going through this Splunk, you know, the queries writing, right? That time, simple, you know, I will show some query, like how you are going to check whether something is successful or not. And meantime, I'll be showing you some, you know, the 2FA related, some, you know, the logs, how it looks also I'll show. Okay. So this is called as personal identity information. PII, or personal customer information, they say. Per PII also they will say personal identity information. Identity means Gmail is my identity. Mobile is my identity. If someone is not calling me, referring me as Raghav, means they have, like, you know, if they have to communicate with me even without knowing to my name, if they have my mobile number and if they have my, you know, the Gmail ID, they can still communicate with me. That's why they are my identities. My roll number is my identity, because if in class, if my lecturer want to, you know, like call me, he can just say that roll number 35 or roll number 21 or something like that. Okay, then I have to stand up and give an answer. Okay, it doesn't require me for me to, you know, like say my name itself. So remember, these are like, you know, the field values which we might be seeing in future. So, like, you know, these things are also what is meant by personal identity information, all the personal identity information, when it is, you know, communicating with the user or it is showing it to the user, make sure the organization should, you know, follow some standards like, you know, star, 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 something like that. I have to keep. Why? Tell me. If a user wants to, you know, if an attacker wants to harvest something, say for example, I have come to know. Give me a second, guys. I will let me show. Yeah. Okay. Now I know that email ID of a person. Okay. Now I want to know the phone number. What is his phone number? Just I went here. Example. What if it directly showed the, like, you know, phone number directly here without stars? It is dangerous, right? So that's why it's they will actually, you know, this is called like, you know, masking with star. Masking means when it is coming from that server itself, these are like stars. There is like no way you can excuse me, no way you can actually see it. Okay. And now, okay, these are like, you know, what they will do is they will do, you know, take these kind of things. So now Amazon, it's very difficult for you to, you know, the, like either you should have Gmail access or you should have, you know, the, what do you say, password should be there for you to log in. But now I'll show some other websites. So to an extent, you know, Amazon is more secured for like password attempts from a new system when it comes to the, you know, like the brute force attack. Now I'm going to take Flipkart. Okay. Yeah. So this is a Indian, you know, our Indian, you know, this e-commerce site. Okay. Now most of the people, they'll use it here. Okay. Now what they will do, they will click on login. Okay. Now, okay. Did you ask any, you know, anything here? Any directly is asking me to enter the username and password, right? Huh? I don't know whether I have the correct password or not. I hardly do. Okay. So this is now asking the enter the mobile number. Okay. And I'll take and it is also like, you know, as the second factor authentication, that is, which is here. Once this comes with the username and password. Okay. And authentication, yes, username and password is correct. Okay. Now let's ask the two-factor authentication. That is, go here and get that, you know, mobile number or anything. So it is asking me itself to enter the mobile number, that page. Okay. So I will get that page and I'll enter, you know, say for example, 80 or something like that. Okay. I don't think this one is the correct. Okay. Guys, you're able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. Why again? You're already registered. Please log in. I have done that only, right? So it is showing me, okay. I think the mobile number which I have entered, whether it is correct or not, even I don't know because I hardly use. Okay. So, no, this kind of, you know, attempts that it will be doing here. Okay. It will be asking. So some other servers will be helping authentication server. Okay. To provide whether the login person is valid or not. Tell me, if authentication server is holding some username and password, Will it be like, like whatever the password in the plain text will it store? No, no, it is not. How it will be storing is, okay, take the username and username will be stored as is. Password, there is something called as hashing. This right? This right, guys? Hashing, I think everyone knows. Hashing online.
Yes.
Okay. Instead of, say for example, I can give SHA 256 I have selected by default because everywhere usually SHA 256 is the algorithm which they will take. It's your organization choice. Okay. What they will do instead of storing the password, okay, say for example, here Raghav at the rate, okay, no, something is the password. For that, I got a hash. Okay, so for the very first time, user whatever the confirmation password, say now choose the password and confirm the password when he clicks enter, right? That time automatically hash value get created and that hash value will be going to get stored in the database. Which database? Authentication server, auth server. Okay, if it is also having some kind of the database or something, it will store that. So remember, there is no your direct whatever you are entering password, nowhere in that Flipkart or Amazon or any of your organization, nowhere it is storing that. Remember this. Those are all only hashes that are getting stored. What if the attacker gets the username, somehow he compromises this particular authentication server, okay, and gets hold of both username and hashes? Like you are completely gone, right? Correct, right? Am I correct or not? Guys, if the hashes are gone, that's it. What he'll do? He will go, he'll take the hash, okay. He will choose, okay, first, uh, first he will go and create a database, okay, XLS. Okay. Okay. You'll write username, okay. Say for example, Raghav, okay, my username, okay. The hash which I have harvested, hash means like I attacked some system and got some, the passwords of that organization. Okay. Let me, what is that format? Align. I'm not expert here, so not much. That's what I do. Mistake. Okay. Now this is there. Okay, hash is there. Okay. Now what you can do, you have to now for this username, okay, this is the hash which you have, got it from that particular database. Okay, because username next to it hashes will be there. Okay, if like how in real time they will get stored, let me show you guys here in Give me a second. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, here it is. I'm not going to get it. Okay. See, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. See this system, whatever the example, if someone asks you, where are the passwords and a system related usernames and passwords, where they are going to get stored in Linux or Unix. If someone asks you, you have to answer them cat. Sorry, how to get it means like getting it is using cat command, like to display it onto the screen. But the location is /etc/shadow. Earlier it was on password, PASSWD was the folder location. Now it is different. That is etc shadow, 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 shadow. Okay, this particular location, etc/shadow. The username is this colon to that same username. Okay, what is the hash value? This is the hash value. Okay, this is the hash value from here to here. I think it might be MD5 or something like that. Okay, let us see any other files which have got here. This is something big. Let us see this. They have multiple usernames on this. Okay, open image in UTF. That's better, I guess. Yeah, see this. SSIT has got the hash value of this. These might be, whatever it is, but that is like different usernames and their hashes are here. Okay, so those hash values, okay, will be stored like this. Okay, in that data. Now you got that file itself. Now you have the hash value and the username. Correct, right? Now what you'll do, like that, multiple, the hash values of that company, you will be like harvested. Okay. Now what you will do is, okay, there are different ways you can, they perform the attack. Okay, using these harvested usernames. But will you do it manually? No. Most of the times attackers, what they do use, they use some kind of tools. Some like GUI tools are there, example, which they can easily get caught. Okay. But one of them is Burp Suit. Burp Suit. Okay. No password, the list. Okay. So here you will create a list of first one, a parameter you will create. Let me open that, the new page, because we don't have time to everything practically show, which I have done it in older videos. If you want, really take it. Okay. So remember, this is the payload. Why I am saying it in HTTP payload it goes is, it is not any header. It is going to the, like this is something related to the application data itself, but the end data where the application server once it takes, it will be like headers. Below to that, payload will be there. Okay, so I'm posting some data. Post is the message which I can use. In that, what I'll do, I'll be like, I am guessing that, right? Whatever the username and passwords. See here, first parameter, I might have selected, that is sample list of usernames. Okay, and I have entered all the usernames list. And second parameter, I'm selecting it as like the the passwords. Okay, like sample password, and I named it as second parameter. Third parameter, if it asking some 2FA, I might have given some, like, use the third parameter for, like some OTP, or, enter the mobile number or something. Okay. So these are the list of passwords. Same way, all these things, they will be mapping like this. Once they try to log in, right? You have to just click start attack. Just click start attack. The username and password, whatever it is, the pair, it will go, because if 1 lakh entries are there, all 1 lakh entries manually you cannot enter, but you just copy paste over there here. Okay, or load a file or here, the passwords list to the add it to the notepad and load it here, and username just load it to one more, the payload set one is there, right, selected. In that you have done that, and you click start attack. And once if you start attack, it will, like, this username and password, what it is here, something they have randomly they have kept it, just ignore it. Okay, what is the username and what is the password? Okay, now you have to see, okay, like, just like, whichever it is the successful, instead of like stated 302 or something like that, 200 you will get. That is the correct password. Okay, so instead of some 302 or anything, if you get 200 means successful. Okay, so that is how, like, within minutes they can do multiple like attacks. Brute force is a, like, quite common, the attack. It is not just what you think, like guess some username and password. It is not like that. All these information, whatever I am giving, is like, you have to remember, because the cross questioning is very important. If someone says brute force attack, okay, what kind of brute force attack is there are different types are there in brute force. Is it they are doing any kind of dictionary attack like that, or they are doing any rainbow attack, or they are sending it through any hashes, password hashes they are sending, like that? You should question them. That things we will see now in a minute. But these are the questions you should ask them. They should be in a position to answer, okay, for you guys, so that, like, or you should question yourself and see what is the data that the attacker is sending. Okay, and one more thing, okay, you should also know that, okay, the authentication server is there, 2FA, two-factor authentication server. Okay, whether it is like, the two-factor authentication is also got compromised, or what means someone somehow they are already replaced the mobile numbers of the customers, okay, with their own mobile numbers, or their email IDs with their own email IDs. How come that possible? Maybe there is a weak point will be there. Say, for example, here only you take, okay, instead of I don't know the password, okay, you are already registered. Let me just refresh it. Go here. Okay. Here. Okay. Say, for example, Amazon is not so dumb, but some new companies, they will say forget password. Okay. Then what they will do? Okay, they'll ask you to enter the mobile number or something. Well, I think these guys are okay, but they will tell that enter some email ID. Okay, we will send a password reset link for that particular, to that particular mail. Then I will click here and then I will click continue. Okay, then it will say that, okay, we have sent it, something like that, right? So some developers have written something that, like, in a way that, okay, here whatever the passwords you give, whatever the email IDs you give, maybe it might be like, like somehow it is accepting, or some they have found workaround that whatever they are giving, attackers are so much sophisticated that whatever the mail ID they are giving, they have identified some bug in this particular page where definitely the OTP will go to, for resetting the password, OTP will go to that particular Gmail ID, whatever the attacker has given. So that kind of, they have done some kind of internally all those things. So now he is able to successfully, use the usernames and password, and he is able to do some kind of force. Force means attempt only, but whether it is allowing or not to check, okay, he might use some automations, okay. So there are different ways they can do the brute force attack. So till at least till here, is it, you guys are able to understand what is brute force? Every one of you? Guys?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So brute force is nothing related to the DMZ. First you have to forget. DMZ will provide only the screen. Okay, that is what is the username and password, along with, this particular page where it has to go and like connect next time for anything, because not in DMZ, you have to go into the authentication location. Okay, means here somewhere authentication pages are somewhere here. Okay, authentication happens, and it will just give you the option of entering username and password. You will enter the username and password, it will come here. After coming here, okay, first it will check the username and the password, whatever the user has sent will be converted into the hash, and that hash value, whichever it is there, and the hash value, whichever it is stored, will be compared. If both hashes are same, then it will send you the successful page back to you. If it is not any successful, then it will show you unsuccessful. Okay, so this is how you are going to, like validate whether the user is valid or not in the real time. And sometimes if two-factor authentication is there, in sense even the username is correct and the password is correct, that means the hash is correct. Okay, once that happens, this logic has written in a way that go and display what, the OTP. Okay, then OTP page will be displayed to this guy, to the user. Then he will enter the OTP, and OTP means two-factor authentication server will be different. Okay, and the two-factor authentication response, like, will be sent to the, again, to this server. Okay, whatever it is, like, the page will be displayed, whatever, to this guy, right? Once he enter, and it tells, this authentication tells, I just sent a two-factor authentication to that guy. Okay, he might send, and I sent him the two-factor authentication page also. Just wait for him. As on when he enters the correct username and password, okay, this one will tell to this server, 2FA server, 2FA server, two-factor authentication server. Okay, if he gives the correct username and password, please let me know. Okay, then this guy enters some, phone number or anything, or the OTP, whatever he has received. Okay, then he'll respond with that OTP value or the, Gmail value. Then that authentication server will, okay, yeah, I have only sent this OTP to him, right? When this guy said immediately, okay, this OTP is correct. Now I'll update to this guy. It won't, this 2FA doesn't talk to this guy at all directly. Okay, so it will again tell it to authentication server that, okay, I just done that. Now you can allow him to it. He has sent the correct one. Okay, so then that time it will tell that, okay, now take this particular web page. Okay, means now you are allowed to get some, all your some other location, some customer real information will be there, like his previous account information. Okay, okay, to go and communicate here successfully. This is very much, more secure. Okay. This here. like all account summary, okay, and some other, like cart, add to cart, okay, and wish list or some other, all those things will be there. But normal like, and a replication of all the products also will be here, okay, all such things. So is that clear how it happens now? Here, no doubt, right? Here and here, no doubt. Anyone has got any doubt? Okay, fine. So now the authentication part, yes, we are very much clear about it. Now nothing to worry about any such thing. Okay. Now what we need? Brute force. Okay. These guys, like, they might be attempting this mainly authentication to FA, all these servers. So now if someone asks you in the interview, what is the critical systems, what we'd like? If I give you like a choice to, like a secure, the performance of the DMZ, or like the security of the authentication, which one you will choose? You should tell that, right? I have to balance it properly, because like this only you have to give the answer, because the more priority is there for us, okay, to secure the data, okay, of the customers which is there in authentication server. Then you'll answer, okay, how it is stored in secure way, okay. So usually it will be the hashed values will be getting stored as passwords, and usernames will be there, and some 2FA authentication servers are, all these things will be there, right? So it will be like comparatively, okay, if there are any other web servers or any other, like DNG servers, more security related concern will be given it to the, okay, this critical data, which is there in the private network, okay. So the preference should be given it to this one. And yes, we have to focus on the performance of the DMZ, because the security wise it is not that much important, as it doesn't have any critical data. We are securing it from some attacks, okay, and some unnecessary requests, okay. As we know that already WAF is there in place, and DDoS mitigation tools to be in place to secure them, okay. The continuous monitoring is not required to an extent where it is required on the the authentication service. Am I correct? Okay. Will you be able to answer these things, guys? Okay.
Yes, Raghav.
Okay. We are going for the next talk. I mean, like, different types. So if that is the case, okay, like as a customer, not I'm talking about from our side, okay, as a customer, what he has to do, like if someone is like doing all I have shown, right, username and password data, guys, I have shown brute force attack and everything in previous videos. If you want, you can go and check it in my YouTube channel videos if you want, okay. Previous batches, okay. I've kept it openly for free for few people. If you want, you can see. I think for you guys it will be there, definitely access, okay. Okay, here things to be remembered, okay, like you have to make sure, like multi-factor authentication is must, first point, okay. To make sure you have complex password, okay, which is like why it is complex password, okay. You have just told, you have kept it as mine, it is something, they know my name is Raghav, okay. They will take that, okay, this hash they will, or they will take that, and what they will do you, I'll show you, okay. Yeah, okay. This guy is, I know this guy is having, his name is Raghav, okay, and he might have used at the rate okay, with some passwords, like dictionary words. What are the dictionary words? Okay, example I'll tell you. He might be from India, so he might have kept India. Okay, or take each and every dictionary word right from A to Z and give an attempt. Okay, and check the hash value, whatever it is getting generated, new hash value. Each word in dictionary, like apple, okay, ball, all complete A related words, complete B related words, okay, all those things, the password, this password, whatever it is they are guessing, this value, whatever it is coming, okay, now they are comparing it with the, okay, value here, whatever I have got it from the database, not database, from the, after hacking the authentication server, I got the hash rate for that. Okay, now what it happens is, this one, if it is not complex, at one point when he is doing in the dictionary, there is something called as summer comes. SUMMER, summer comes. Now, say for example, guys, it got, give me a second. Okay, screen share. Okay. Say for example, I don't know, I have used it right earlier. For which username? Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. Okay, CD, right? At the end, it should be CD. What is the username I have given? I forget. Oh, control. Why? Okay, here it is. Okay, CD. CD. Okay. So, Raghav, sorry, I'll just remove this usually. Correct. Raghav. Okay. So, capital R I have given. Okay. Now, there might be like, these guys might be knowing that small letter R or capital letter R, something like that. Okay. In the dictionary, what they will come? At the rate. They might have, definitely the customer might have used at the rate. Okay. So now what they will do? You, in the dictionary, A, B, C, D, F, all words, it will try to attempt and see if this hash and this hash, anywhere it is matching. Okay. It is not matching, like that. And after that, summer comes. Okay. Summer comes. Summer word in the dictionary. And they will take that particular hash, okay, and compare it with the hash which you have, like, got it from the, like after doing this. Okay. Why? Because, okay, delete, format, wrap. Okay. So now you see both are same. Both are same. That means definitely the guessed password is Raghav. Okay. Now he will note down like this. Guessed password is Raghav. Okay. So the hashes should not be left alone. Even for security, you should have two-factor mobile authentication. And if you have weak password, people can easily guess it because they will do reverse engineering, okay, and they will store that. So this is like, they do brute force attack, as I showed you, multiple usernames, multiple same user, multiple password guessings also they do, or multiple usernames also. Okay, something like that. Okay, and I don't know whether it comes or not. Yeah, like this. So many users. I'm just giving. I don't want to write. So that's it. Different users, different username and passwords. How it is like this. Something. Okay. Just remember that. Now, brute force attacks, like, the types, whatever we have is like, to secure it from any type of brute force attack. The first thing what you have to make sure is you should have two-factor authentication in your organization. Okay. And ask your customers to keep the password very much complex. Okay. This is for the web. Okay. That's very good. What if it is the case for, the Linux usernames, whatever they do, uh, or Windows usernames in your desktops, in your office, something. Definitely, they will come any point of time, and they can, like, if you are not present over there, one of your colleague, you might have tried guessing the passwords or anytime, or your friend's laptop, you might have tried to guess it. Okay, any such things, definitely you might have done it. So these are all like you're guessing them, correct, right? Even there also, it is called as brute force. Like there, wherever the guessing password comes in, not only the web, where this kind of thing, okay, but normal, the password login attempts in at your friend's laptop or in the office of your colleague or an attacker who logged in, okay. In movies like Hollywood or Bollywood, hero will be typing to, like what might be the password. He'll be password mismatch. Okay. All of a sudden he will, okay, this is like, he always used to use this word. Okay, let me try that. Okay. So that's what, okay. It's easy, like, how they harvest is like, different ways. They can try to know your likings, and then that itself they will be converting as a keyword. And okay, if there is anything like, for such kind of things, account lockout. If there is any three failed attempts, account lockout should happen. Okay. If you let that person to, more than 5 times also, if he's attempting, and you are letting him to happily connect, means that is very bad. Correct, right? That is it. Okay. So then what else? Okay. And one more thing is, okay, use CAPTCHA or such things. What is, like, to stop these attackers? Okay. You might have seen that, right? Okay. What is that website? Mine, Cloudflare. Cloud. CAPTCHA, you know, right? Like, it is asking me to enter the whether it is bot or such things. Okay. Since automation they are doing, some attackers. Okay. 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 So this is CAPTCHA. If the automation thing, user enters username and password. Okay. But this one will be there. What is this? CAPTCHA comes up. If it is an automation tool, it's very hard for it to, as a machine, to detect whether, please click image cycle. Image cycle also, like bicycle images also, it's very like odd, annoying. It's not full. Okay. So where is what you're not even like, aware. If you properly see, okay, like, oh, this is bicycle. Okay. This is also bicycle. Okay. Looks like this is also bicycle. Okay. Looks like this is also bicycle. But this is also having 2 tires. But this is some gibberish image. But this is also a bike. This is also bike. I don't think remaining all are there. As a human, you can. But as this thing, what it will consider, this one is also a bike. This one is also a bicycle. This one is also a bicycle. Looks like to be automation tool, like where they might be guessing, or they have to develop a 100% accurate, okay, which is, you know, what I can say, 100% accurate, you know, like artificial intelligence or machine learning tool, which is actually helps them in, you know, solving this problem. But it's very hard. But nowadays, few sophisticated attackers, they were able to crack this as well, up to 70% of, you know, the attempts. Okay, not 100%. That means that's why we have some new tools for brute force only. They have, you know, are coming to control them. Those tools are called as, you know, shape. Okay, shape security. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, this is the one. Like credential stuffing, whatever we have done, I've shown you, right? Here, like we are stuffing the credentials. Okay, username, we stuffed it in one. And am I audible? Someone respond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So the username and the password, okay, are here. Okay. So these things, whatever we have here, should be like, you know, we are stuffing it and we are attempting that particular, you know, attempt of, you know, like to log in. Okay. Now where it is our thing. Yeah, this one. This one, if someone is trying to do that, even if using the CAPTCHA or something like that, okay. So this one is something different. What it does is, this particular tool, what it does is, okay, you know, this kind of sophisticated tools. Okay, this one and there is some other, you know, company app view or something. Okay, app view or something. App. I don't know. Apex, AppUX, yeah. Apex view? No. Yeah. It is also some kind of, you know, the tools for the, you know, like to identify the attacks and all these things. Machine identity, whether it is a machine or not. Okay, it is the right machine or not, also you can identify. So prevent, I mean, like usually like the market leader is now, you know, the Shape. Okay, what they will do, they will have like, you know, the similar kind of device like IDSR, like, you know, WAF or something like that. If any login attempt happens, it will pass through them. The login headers it will check. Okay, and it will see, okay, in the login page, these guys, Shape people, will include some small script, JavaScript. Okay, in this, okay, JavaScript they will be keeping. You know, there will be a lot of things. If it is Amazon website, if you go here, or inspect if you do. These are all I'm giving more info because, like, you know, it's not my duty to just tell this is username and this is a password, and if they try to do attempt with multiple username and passwords, that is called as multiple passwords for a username, that is called as brute force. If only that much if I give you, you will give answer only that much. Okay, that is not the right thing. Once if you get into the office, oh, I know all these things Sarah has explained earlier. Now I know all of them. Okay. Whenever there is any healthy discussions happening with respect to the brute force attack, you can actually talk to them in more confident way that all these things have explained you. Okay. Okay, fine. So okay, so these are all different files in this web page. In them, you will be seeing some JavaScripts also, in-page JavaScripts. Like there are multiple, not only this JavaScript, there will be multiple JavaScript page might be there. Okay, there will be multiple JavaScript page will be there. Okay. So many will be there, but let it be. Here I am not seeing, only one I have seen. Maybe it's up to them how they deal with it. Yeah. Okay. Fine, let it be. Okay. Here one JavaScript is there. This kind of JavaScript, not this one. Maybe something. These guys, whichever these guys, who these shape guys have included in this in the web page. Okay, here. This what it will do. User how is behaving. That points it will collect artificial intelligence, whether he is really or not. Some 60 to 70, intelligence points it will collect. How he's moving the cursor, how many tabs he has opened, what is the current, the systems, health and all these kind of information. And then that information will be collected in some kind of, some metrics. And once if you click continue, right, that data and the, like your login attempt, username and password details will go to the, that particular server authentication. Before authentication server, maybe here, maybe here shape server, like shape authentication appliance might have kept before they get into this network. Here, maybe here. Okay. So all the login authentication servers attempts, it will go here. It has to go through the shape. Shape, what it does is it directly doesn't allow that particular information to go to the auth server. Shape, it will inspect that whether this guy is genuine or not. Means like I have collected some artificial intelligence signals, and based on that, I am come to know that this guy is some bot. Immediately it will stop there itself. Got it? It will stop there itself. So that kind of, the latest tools have come, as of now in the market. Okay, I'm just giving you heads up. All those tools I cannot show you guys or anything, because those are all like, hundreds of millions of dollars. This is, with my, like I have come to know about those tools. So that much companies are, investing in security. Okay, for tools only. Remember, just think about the people, how much they might be investing. Okay, so they need the security engineers a lot. Okay, fine. So these kind of things. Okay, account lockouts, all these things are the some of few important things which you have to remember. Okay, and you have to also remember that this is, CAPTCHAs they will use. CAPTCHA. Now this actually makes your the security of your application more strong. Okay, like if you make sure, if you apply these policies in your organization, multi-factor authentication, complex passwords, account lockout, for detecting the automated activity, like for stopping automated activity, CAPTCHA, all these things. Okay, so couple of the brute force attacks are there, like dictionary already I have explained, and rainbow attack is also there, and password like the hashes only using, those things also are there. All those things I'll explain to you guys in some time. Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break. Okay, then we can continue. Okay.